Hey everyone, how are you? It's good to be back. Let me adjust my microphone. How are you all? Uh Trish won't be on until Monday. She's taking a few days off. You're gonna have me at 10:30 throughout the weekend. That's fantastic actually, because it gives me a bit of time after Cold Justice on Saturday night to get my thoughts together and get the screenshots done and things like that. Um, our thoughts still go out to her. I know that her and Heels were good mates, and it's never easy losing a friend, and it's a horrible news, right? But on more on that, I want to show you something really cool that happened today. If I can find it, as I like to say, let me type this in. So over much of the north, there's been a these conditions, a G5 extreme condition not seen since October 2023, which means the aurora's been seen all over the place, including in England. I've seen a whole bunch of photos from all different places, including London, which is really, really cool. Apparently, it's going to be as far south as Texas. I think that is unreal because I just don't think it gets that far normally. People are saying it can only be seen through your phone camera, not with the naked eye. So if you're out there taking photos, you may have to have your phone with you. But pretty cool. But I want to show you something else that happened in Australia yesterday. We talk a lot about tornadoes in the US, right? Well, occasionally, every now and then, we get tornadoes down here too. And there was one here yesterday in WA. I'm going to show it to you.
But we want to get first to some breaking news now at 7 a.m.
A freak tornado in Bunbury, south of Perth, has left 2 people in hospital, damaged dozens of homes and brought down a sports stadium that had dozens of children inside. Let's cross live now to James Carmody in Bunbury. And James, was there any warning here?
No, it ripped through about 4 o'clock in the afternoon with significant destruction along a narrow stretch. You can see homes along this part of South Bunbury really torn apart. Look at the size of this tree that has been ripped out. This home belongs to Matt Denham. He recounted what the terrifying experience was for his family who was home at the time.
I missed a call from my wife, and she had left a voicemail, and when I went to the voicemail, all I could hear was my son like breathing heavily and going, oh God, and then the line just went dead. The kitchen window blew out, and my son had just left the kitchen, and there's a piece of glass there's a huge piece of glass halfway across the kitchen on the countertop, and if he'd have been standing in the kitchen when that broke, then yeah, I don't know what, it doesn't even bear thinking about.
Now, we're hoping to bring you some pictures shortly of some more of this, but there's about 3,000 odd homes without power, and a silver lining of that, or...
All right, I'm gonna stop it there for a second. In the picture you can see here, this is like they had some sort of youth group here. Apparently it damaged this area. 50 kids were inside at the time. And Jenny says a tornado, so it was spinning the direction it does here in the USA. No, it was spinning the opposite direction. We're below the equator. Coriolis effect, once you get below the equator, means it spins the opposite direction to the US. So in the US, if you've ever seen an anticyclonic tornado, that's what it looks like. It's basically what we get here. Pretty interesting meteorological situation. I know it's not true crime. Everyone's like, Ping, get to the freaking true crime. We don't want to know about the storms. Go away. Ping, boo, boo. But I find it interesting, and then we'll get to the storms. I was looking it up. Oh, okay. It's all good. I was going to show you a little bit here. The radar here is so different. Hold on, guys, hold on. Hey, sorry, we had a Hold on, guys. Sorry, bit of an emergency. So as you can see here, it's similar to the US. What we have here, this is a couplet. What you normally see in a frick. Everything's going wrong. As you can see, this is a couplet. So you got your winds moving in the away from the radar and towards the radar. Very similar to what you see in the US, but the radar here is just freaking terrible. It's just not very good radar. So you can see all the lightning strikes. But hey, it does happen. It's not super common down here, but yeah, this is a weather situation in case anyone was interested. Here you go. You got like a occluding warm front or a warm front here. You got your cold front and a trough right in front of it. 35 knot winds coming in right across almost that area where the tornado was too. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. No, I don't need to go. It's okay. Someone's taking care of it. It's all good. It's okay. So there's your tornado update from Australia. I thought people might be interested in seeing that because I always get asked, do you get tornadoes in Australia? Yes, we do. They do happen down here. They're just not as common like as the US. Oh, guys. Sorry, a relative's calling and we're trying to figure out why. Yeah, finally. There we go. All right. We're all good. We're all good. All right. Hey, I want to bring you an update. Let's get you an update from the surfers. So bombshell in Brothers Mexico murders. I don't think it's that much of a bombshell, but apparently this woman is now claiming that she was in an abusive relationship with the potential murderers of the two brothers and their friend, the American, Mr. Rhodes. So there's three of them out there. And the prosecutors are alleging it was a botched carjacking. I don't know. I've seen some people saying it's a botched carjacking. I've seen some people saying it's, possibly cartel related. But the cartel came out earlier this week and said when they found out that these Australians and the American had been murdered, they actually called the police and handed the suspects to them. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's them just trying to say, hey, look at all the good things we do in the community. We may traffic millions of dollars in drugs, but if bad things happen in our community, we definitely help. We're good people. I don't know if that's what they're trying to do. It says here, Ari was charged with drug possession in relation to the case at hand. Details of the case were revealed on Ben Fordham's 2GB radio slot on Thursday morning, including how she told the court Jesus has confessed to shooting all three men. But apparently, the judge in this case said, how did one person kill all these people, take their truck, and take all the tires off and all this? And the judge said prosecutors should probably go and have another look at this and see if there were other people involved, because they're saying, look, one dude did all this against three males. He doesn't believe it. So apparently Jesus was charged with forced kidnapping and refused bail. He did not enter a plea and will return to court on November 10. It is expected that his charges will be upgraded to murder as the investigation progresses. In relation, hold on, I want to find the bit where he's telling him about here. The Ensenada judge suggested to prosecutors that the crime could not have been committed by Jesus alone, given that he would have to have moved the bodies of three men on his own. The judge did say that he can't understand how one sole person could have done this, essentially kidnap and kill three men and take their tires. It seems like too much. He suggested that the prosecution needed to look into more suspects, that they needed to broaden their investigation because it couldn't have been done by one man alone. That's very interesting. It sort of paints a picture. Andrew says, I've never seen a tornado. Well, now you have. You're right. Jenny says, of course she's going to say that. Botch carjacking and they end up in a well. I know. And then now now they're trying to say, oh, it was just one guy. Meh. Jenny says, not possible by one guy unless he's Superman. They all have charges upgraded to murder. Right now, no. Hey, Danny. How are you? Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm not sure what's going on. So right now we've got some relatives that are not here. They're in another country, and I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm trying to listen and hear if it's something we have to go. It seems like it's all right. I think it's okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I have to go or not. I think I'm okay though. Yeah, the mothership is contacting Ping. That's right. Danny Mitchell says, I was out and about today and folks were talking about this. Really? That is very interesting that people are. I would think that they would have to have had help. They've arrested brothers Jesus and Christian, and they were charged with the death, but I think they got it right originally. I think it was probably all three of them. How do you move three men's bodies? And like we've heard of dead weight of dead people before and how heavy they are. I mean, I guess it's possible if you like not to be gruesome, but if you shot and killed them and then you loaded them onto a ute or a utility and you drove them right up to the well, took the cover off the well and just pushed them in. I mean, maybe it's possible, but I don't think so. I think they probably had more than one person. I just think the judge is probably a little, especially if they were, I think they might have been sort of ambushed at the start. Maybe they didn't know there was someone out there at the beginning, because they did say that they reckon that Callum, Jake, and Jack Carter Road did fight them for a little bit, and they refused to give up the truck. So, is everything all right? Is she all right? She's getting a bit homesick, or?
No, she just wants to know about Bill.
Oh, freaking! All right. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, okay. Well, that's nice of her. Tell her thank you. Yeah, all right. Well, we'll just give her the money. I Hear Morning says, I think the men were possibly sleeping and surrounded. Yeah, that's what I think. I think they were possibly disturbed by the people coming into near their campsite, and then maybe some sort of altercation took place, and then who knows what happened. Well, obviously we know what happened. They were killed, unfortunately. They're harmless unless you're riding a horse. I've never heard that. You can ride horses into tornadoes. Never heard that before. Yeah, so they're in court. I don't know what you guys think about it. I think prosecutors got it right originally, and that they got the three right people, and that they just got to build their case. They have until November 10th to build a good case against the three of them, and then just bring them to trial. Let the judge or a jury sort it out, and then get justice for these men and their families. I mean, what else can we do right now? It's you can't bring it back, which is unfortunate. All we can do is hold people accountable, right? That's all we can do. Yeah, I'm not real clear on Mexican law. I was surprised to hear that they didn't have the death penalty. I had no idea. I thought for sure they would have, being the way they sort of do things down there, but apparently they don't. Willy Willies? Oh, Willy Willies, yeah, but Willy Willy is not a tornado. A Willy Willy is a what do they call, like a land spout or a dust devil. Much less like severe than what you saw on the video at the start. The video at the start was a full-blown tornado. Willy Willies formed from the ground up. They're a heat exchange from the heat rising, and they formed like that. a tornado forms from the clouds down, forms from the rotation in the clouds, and then touches the earth. It's sort of different. Feeds on the energy in the atmosphere. So you have a lot of instability, warm air, that type of thing. Amy007 says, thinking of Trish at this difficult time. Me too. I had a little chat with, well, I don't want to say who, but Web Sleuth tonight, and I hope she's going to be okay. Plain DJ says, difficult to bring a gun into Mexico. There are some exceptions for hunters, so they were surely unarmed. Yeah, isn't there like a big gun running thing between Mexico and America or something like that? Mexicans want American produced guns or something like that. I know that there's a big gun running thing. Yeah, they probably would have been unarmed. So they probably tried to fight them off, and then a weapon was produced, which is very unfortunate. I mean, you never expect anyone to go on holidays. Doesn't matter if it's Mexico or Croatia or the UK, and then not come home, right? We never expect that for our families. And I've got family overseas right now, and we expect them back. In July, they're coming back, and that's what we all think. So I couldn't imagine to get that phone call. That's why I was worried just then. I thought we were getting some sort of bad news, and it's happened before while they've been overseas. So I was a little worried. All right. All right, let's move on. That's the little update I have on the killed surfers. And I have noticed a bit of a change in the media, the way they're addressing the mate, the American friend, Jack Carter Road. They have started to include him a lot more, and I do like that. Because originally they were like, oh, there's a disappearance of 2 Australians and some American dude. And I was like, that's a really shitty way of putting it to people. If he's with them, they're obviously mates, and we take care of our friends. It's an Australian tradition to take care of our friends. Doesn't matter what country you're from. And I didn't like the way they were reporting on it at the time, but they seem to have changed their tune a little bit. I don't know if you all saw this out of KTLA in the US, and while I'm loading the next story, I'll show you. You might be interested to know. Hey, if I stop this. Entertainment reporter Sam Rubin died today, aged 64 years old. He was from KTLA, but if you didn't know this, in Australia, we used to see him on the TV screens in the morning. He used to do a lot of entertainment or celebrity type news in the morning TV shows down here. So a lot of people in Australia grew up watching Sam on the TV show in the morning for like morning TV. So we would have seen him growing up, and it's really sad for someone who's been a part of many different lives across different countries. I heard he was even in the BBC in the UK. So he was like in America, he's in Australia, he was in London in the UK and other UK countries. Yeah, so he passed away today. Unfortunately, heart attack at home. Not something you ever want to see for anyone. Not someone with such an accomplished career. So I didn't know if many people knew that he was also on TV in the mornings in Australia. But yeah, he was. We used to see him all the time. Chris Proudfoot was bad mouthing Trisha and Justin from Clutch Them Pearls. Put him in his place. I don't think anyone, I don't want to get involved, but I appreciate it, Andrew. I just think that the situation is ridiculous, and how about we just all concentrate on finding Sebastian? And if that's not your goal, you can go get effed, as far as I'm concerned. Don't want all this freaking mud and mudslinging and digging up bullshit. Just find the effing child. That's it. There's nothing else to it. It's going to end up like Summer Wells. I'm serious. People think I'm joking. It's going that way, and we're already like at the halfway mark. it was going to be like a year later, we're not going to know shit, and everyone's going to not know anything. And we're all just going to be like, oh, here, it's Summer Wells Part 2. And no one knows anything, we haven't found them. It drives me crazy, it really does. Just find the child, that's it. Before I go crazy and yell at everyone. All right. That's it. That's all I care about. All right. Let me bring you a murder case. A murder case. Not that one. A different one. Now, I spoke about this woman a while ago, and I can't believe they finally found her. Her name is Jamila Smith. Remains have been found after a months-long murder investigation. I think this was back in November, December. We spoke about her being missing. Well, they finally tracked down where her remains had been put. And I am so happy to hear that because I know her family were desperately looking for her. Now, if I remember correctly, it was her partner or ex-partner that may have been involved. We'll find out. I'm going to watch it with you. It's only a 30-second one.
Making headlines this evening. An update on the murder investigation of a missing woman. Aiken deputies say they have found Jamila Smith's body. Investigators found the remains in a wooded area near the 2100 block of Silver Bluff Road. Her remains were then positively identified by the Aiken County coroner. Smith was reported missing in December. 2 men have been arrested in connection with her death, one charged with murder and another with accessory after the fact. Jamila was 30 years old.
It's official. Texas is back.
Texas is back? All right, good for you. Yeah, very interesting that it took this long. They haven't said what led them to this actual location, but they are saying, let me pick it up. They said the Aiken County Sheriff Michael Hunt announced on Friday that human remains of missing Jackson woman Jamila Shanae Smith, 30, were found in the woods. Investigators searched a wooded area off the 2100 block of Silver Bluff Road and found human remains, according to a news release from the county sheriff's office. They're not saying exactly what led them there. Initially, police said she was likely kidnapped by her boyfriend, according to previous reporting. Smith's boyfriend, Daniel Gabriel Harmon, 34, of Jackson, was arrested on December 23rd and charged with murder, kidnapping, and domestic violence in the second degree. I knew it was a boyfriend. Just a month prior to Smith's disappearance, Harmon allegedly strangled her on November 10th with 2 hands at the same Beach Island address where she later went missing from. And that's according to arrest warrants. She had injuries to her neck and an obstructed airway. There was a child nearby during the incident who saw the strangling, according to warrants. Brian Alexander Hampton Jr., 35, of Augusta, is charged with accessory after the fact to murder, according to previous reporting. And Clyde Hendley II, 46, of Bath, South Carolina, is charged with accessory after the fact to murder, according to a news release from the sheriff's office. It took them December, January, February, March, April, May, about 6 months to find her finally. Here's a photo of her. I'm glad they finally have, so they can give her back to her family. I'd prefer to read these type of stories every night of getting someone back to their family. That would be a great show. If I could do 10 stories of people, doesn't matter if they're alive or been missing for a while, going back to their home, I think I'd prefer to do that. James Yablonsky. No one is covering the case. 13-year-old. No one cares. I'll have a look. What's it called? James Yablonsky.
Nearly 7 months after a Sauk County teenager went missing, 27 News is digging deeper into where the investigation stands today. In new video we are showing you for the first time, James Yablonsky is seen for one of the last times before he disappeared. Rachel Perry sat down with both his dad and investigators and has you covered on what else the video reveals.
In video, 27 News is sharing with the public for the very first time. You can see 13-year-old James Jablonski, bags packed, leaving his family's Reedsburg home in June.
What was he thinking, and who was he talking to? He had to have been talking to somebody.
It was that same night his dad, Bill, says he last saw his son roughly 7 months ago.
It's not him. Something happened. Somebody either threatened us or threatened him.
Lights from the family's van can be seen as James, too young to legally drive, pulls away. A few hours later, Bill lets the dogs out and realizes both the van and James are gone.
The van's gone and James is gone. He's got my phone.
I knew something was up. And then you can actually hear me on the camera outside screaming and hollering to get the kids up and just freaking out because I had no phone, no way to call anybody.
Scott Steinhorst and Drew Boleyn are detectives with the Sauk County Sheriff's Office. They say James left home at about 1 in the morning and stopped at his dad's business in the Dells twice. After that, the timeline gets a bit fuzzy.
And then we were able to track his movement through electronic data throughout the county.
Officials from all over Wisconsin combed through this area looking for any sign of James. Now that's because we know he parked the van here on the side of Highway 12 near Baraboo before disappearing into the woods. Where he went next, investigators have no clue.
From that point, is it just completely unknown where he could be?
Yes.
During their nearly week-long search, investigators found a campsite.
100-ish yards to the west of Highway 12 up a real steep hill, kind of leveled off up on top, and that's where the belongings were found.
And what's found there?
So there was bags and some clothing, some hygiene items, and then the cell phone that belonged to his father, Bill. I will say that we have not come across any evidence to put us on the criminal side of things.
Bill disagrees.
Then I think he was coaxed into leaving.
From there, he feels someone picked James up.
I just want somebody to call and say,
Wait, did I miss a bit? Did they end up finding the van that he took? Like, did they find it abandoned and that's why they don't know where the hell he is? Or did they never find the van either? I don't know if I missed that, but very odd. The fact that he would go into the wilderness like that. And what was his dad's business? They said he visited his dad's business twice. Here's the sort of photos they found. Here's some belongings. And is that a trail cam? No, that's when he was leaving home. Thought they might have actually captured him on a trail cam, but this is odd. And he takes the car, takes the van. Just trying to find out some more information here. The van's gone, yeah. The family's van can be seen parked on the side of Highway 12. So they're saying they think someone picked him up after that. That is very strange. Like maybe he was groomed by someone. Is that sort of the angle they're going for? That someone has groomed him? It says he stopped at his father's business in Wisconsin Dells twice, but they are not saying what it is. Bill shares with us that he believes he's missing a handgun from his business, but he doesn't know how long it's been missing. Great record keeping. We believe it's possible that James obtained it from the business. Well, that's scary. An underage kid, 13 years old, with a pistol. It says here, after the timeline gets a bit funny, before James was reported missing, a patrol officer found the van on the side of Highway 12 and tagged it as abandoned. And then they found a makeshift campsite roughly 100 yards to the west of Highway 12, where the van was. Up a real steep hill, they found some belongings and personal items, plus the mobile phone he took from his dad. Is he still out there? Like, is he still in the wilderness? Do they think maybe he went off to, like, that's why he wanted the gun? I can't say the word, but do they think maybe that is something? They said after a few minor injuries, officers made the call to end the search and said it was too dangerous to continue looking for him. Aside from the campsite found, they didn't locate anything else that belonged to James. They've also been analyzing electronics, talking to witnesses and close friends, acquaintances of James and other family members. Nobody indicated to us that he was, you know, this word here. If we can make it, I can't make it bigger. Come on. So we can't use that word? Okay. So they put up signs for him too. Have you seen me missing June 12th, 2023? It's a while. James's dad, Bill, agreed to take a polygraph test a few months after James went missing. He passed the test. They said we can't rule anything out below completely, but through our investigation, we feel pretty strongly that Bill is not and was not involved in James' disappearance. That's pretty strong wording from investigators. They said where the investigation stands now, they said the investigation is still very active, but they're running out of leads. I'm guessing they're asking for anyone who may know something to call in and help them out. They don't know anything. They're almost running out of, it's going to become a cold case. If they don't get more leads, it'll go cold eventually. They said his father just thinks he was coaxed into leaving the property and taking the car. That's because Bill believes James wouldn't just take off without saying anything. He told 27 News that they had plans to go fishing and camping that month. Things James loved doing. They said Bill feels someone picked him up off Highway 12. But for how long was he there? And it's weird that he dumped all his, the stuff he had with him. I really hope this is not like one of those cases where we find out in 10 years he's been locked in someone's basement or something and he finally escapes and we get him on Oprah or whatever. That would be terrible, and it would be much better if we could figure it out now. Who is John Smutzer? Who killed me? October 14, 2020. I've never heard of this case. Does anyone know this one? John, who was killed in Devil's Lake State Park. I can't say I know that one. Still missing. That's horrible. Moonshadow said that sign freaks me out. I can't say I've ever heard of either of these cases. James Yablonsky and the John Schmutzer one. You don't pack to go out and end it. That's true, right? Although I think we have heard of ones that people have done something similar to that. I can't say I know much more than what I've just told you, but if anyone knows anything, call that number 1-888-TIP-SAUK. The police and sheriff in that area are running out of leads. They need more people involved. They need more information. If you've seen that kid anywhere, could be anywhere. Who knows if someone did pick him up? Who knows what bloody state they're in? They could be in any state adjacent to this one. South, north, east, west, could be anywhere. Call it in. No tip is too small. Don't feel like you're going to be an idiot for calling in. Just do it. They'll sort out whether you're wrong or right. It's not up to you to decide. Just give them the information. Red Like Wine says that was great pronouncing that name, Ping. I would have struggled with it. I don't even know if I got it right. Half the time I'm wrong. So yeah, the Who Killed Me. Let's look it up. I've never heard of this one. We're hanging out Friday night. Let's look up this case. John. All right. Did I type that incorrectly? S-C-H. Okay, S-C-H. Okay. And so they did like a outreach last year. More information sought in the 2020 homicide at Devil's Lake State Park. Let's have a look. They're saying that anyone who has submitted information regarding the 2020 homicide and has not heard back from a detective to call them. They said they've had hundreds of leads and tips and have been investigated in the killing of John. The sheriff's office is continuing to investigate. They explain the sheriff's office has not been able to reach certain people who have provided information about the investigation, which it's hoped to get more information or clarification. So if you haven't heard back from a detective, they want you to contact them. Don't wait for them to contact you again. They said John was found on the morning of October 14, 2020 near the Grottos Trail on the south side of the park outside of Baraboo. An autopsy indicated he died as a result of a stabbing. A person of interest was previously identified by authorities who called him the runner. Citing more than 15 witnesses, officials said the runner was spotted that day he was killed, seemingly frantic, running in what was described as an uncontrolled fashion, falling on several occasions. Officials described the person of interest as a man roughly 6 feet tall who wore a dark top, dark pants with rips in the knees of it. Anyone who has not heard back from a detective and has already submitted information to detectives are urged to call Detective Justin Hannigan at 608-355-3233 or Detective Drew Bullen at 608-355-4406 as soon as possible. So he was in a park at the Devil's Lake State Park and someone stabbed him, and they think it could be the guy called the Runner. A guy who was running and falling over. Very odd. Let me see if I can find anything else about this. Okay, they did an update many years ago. Let me see if I can find a smaller update that's not 15 minutes. Come on, WKOW.
You covered. This is 27 News at 6.
Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Amber Noggle. A homicide at Devil's Lake State Park has turned into a 2-year investigation. Today, the murder of 24-year-old John Schmutzer remains unsolved. Now, exactly 2 years later, Rachel Perry revisits the case with the woman who was at the park during the attack.
October 14th, 2020 was just a typical fall day for hikers and campers at Devil's Lake Park. But that changed quickly.
There is a suspect of a homicide that is at large right now.
Sauk County investigators say John Schmutzer, just 24 at the time, was stabbed to death on one of the South Shore trails. They say they believe the killer was a stranger. 2 years have gone by, and the question of who killed Schmutzer remains a mystery.
I do believe it was a little bit closer to the South Shore.
Luann Kilgore remembers that day vividly. She was on her morning walk, the same one she does every day.
It was a much warmer day than today. It was sunny and beautiful, and I was taking pictures.
As she was leaving, Kilgore noticed a large police presence, but didn't think much of it.
I started getting phone calls from other people that live in the area and friends saying, oh, we just heard that there was a murder in the park. We know you go there. Are you okay? And so then I was a little alarmed about it.
At the time of the murder, detectives say more than a dozen witnesses reported seeing the same man they have since dubbed the Runner. Looking through her photos from that day, Luann recalls wondering if she too saw the Runner.
Most of my pictures were of the beauty all around us, but I arrowed in on the railroad tracks just to see if I could see anybody, and there was, nobody there.
Kilgore says even after 2 years have gone by, knowing the suspect is still out there can be a little haunting.
It's still unsettling because we don't know if it's someone that lives here. You don't even know if it's someone we know. You just don't know.
In Baraboo, Rachel Perry, 27 News.
Very odd, right? the fact that so many people saw the maybe a person of interest, the runner. There was people there taking photos like that woman, but just all the wrong timing, right? It's one of those cases where there isn't the perfect opportunity. How sad for him and his family. I hope they figure it out. Maybe someone will come forward with a, hey, I found this on my phone from like 3 years ago. I haven't used it since then. I dropped it that day and I cracked the screen. But I decided to hook it up to the computer and I found all these photos. Go back. If you were in that park that day, go back. Look for that device. Did you take photos that day? Have a look through them. You may have that runner guy in your photos. Look for it. You might be the key to finding out, hey, they might find him and realize that guy was just a homeless dude or something that had nothing to do with the murder. But at least you were able to cross that out and get them to another more helpful part of the investigation. So if you were there that day, on the very small chance, on the 0.0000001% chance that you were there and you listened to this show, maybe you have the key to solving it. Yeah, go back, look at those devices. You never know. Like that lady said, she had to look into the background of photos, not right in front of her, to check whether there was anything investigators could use. So maybe. Yeah, there we go. By the way, I know someone. Oh, Angela sent me a link about the surfers. I'll have a look at that in a second. But I know we brought you a thing about a man who was missing in Barnsdall, a guy who was missing and his son is just looking for his dad. They can't find him after the tornado. There apparently a boy in Tennessee from the other day was severely injured when he got swept into a neighborhood storm drain. They're saying Asher needs a miracle, specifically pray for healing for his lungs and most importantly, brain activity to occur. Oh my God. So they're saying he doesn't have any brain activity? Oh no. Please tell me, what's his name? It's Asher, I know that. Young boy was rushed into water. What's his name? Asher. They just give the name Asher, no last name. What's the dad's name? Sullivan. So maybe it's Asher Sullivan. Let's have a look. He was swept under the drain for 15 minutes. So he was underwater. They're saying
now a Rutherford County community is praying for a miracle. Right now, Asher Sullivan, who you see here, is the son of Rutherford County's director of schools. But Sullivan fell into a storm drain and he was swept under his neighborhood street during yesterday's storms. Our Marissa Sulik is joining us live right now. You were speaking to people at a vigil. They're praying for a miracle, Marissa. What are they telling you right now?
Well, Lauren, yeah, that's really all they can do at this moment. We are here in the Christiana neighborhood where we're told the Sullivan family does live. We spoke with neighbors here today who tell us that Asher, like you said, was sucked under the drainage system, under the streets here for about 15 minutes. They say that he actually was caught in this drainage behind me, and that was because he got stuck by a branch. They say that's when medics administered CPR for about 10 minutes. And now all this community can do is pray, which is exactly what they did today.
We all want to do something right now, and the Sullivan family has requested that we pray and lift up Asher.
Asher Sullivan is the 10-year-old boy hundreds of people at this vigil are praying for. He's the son of Dr. James Sullivan, the superintendent, a person this community knows well.
Is it because I'm a husband and father and I could relate to what he must be feeling at this time? And I think that was part of it. But even more than that is Dr. Sullivan exuberates love for this community and the love for our students.
At the same time, the Christiana neighborhood where the family lives had their own vigil. That's where we spoke with Sandra Watts, who saw the aftermath yesterday.
The water was like Niagara Falls. It just took them.
Neighbors tell us Asher lost his shoe in the water and went back for it. That's when he was swept into the drainage system.
And you never thought you could go down a drain, but he went down the drain and all the drains that's, under the streets.
People nearby say he was gone for about 15 minutes and went about 500 yards. They say he was found outside this storm drain.
One of his dear friends, Madden, he was all scraped up trying to save him, and it's very devastating. We're praying, and we're praying constantly.
And it's prayers the entire community and county are lifting and writing now in hopes Asher comes back home.
God, right now, in the name of Jesus, I lift up Jimmy. I lift up Casey.
I don't even know what to say. That is horrible. A child to be sucked under a storm drain for 15 minutes. I don't know. That's very hard to overcome. And what an awful situation. He went back for a shoe. Probably because he thought his parents would be mad at him if he lost his shoe, maybe. I mean, it's not worth it. Don't play in storm drains. They have like education campaigns here in Australia to tell kids don't play in storm drains when it rains, because we've had so many little kids die from being sucked into them. They get really pressurized when you get rainfall, and they can do some real damage, especially if you're far. You can be not even that close to it, and the rushing water can knock you off your feet, get you into it. I don't know why kids love playing in them. I guess it's a sense of adventure, sort of like a cave, and they think it's fun. But water can go from dry to water in minutes if you get a big enough thunderstorm. So I all I can say is I freaking hope for a miracle for his family. I hope medicine can, and prayers can somehow, I don't even know, fix him. It says here, Sullivan said his son's lungs were severely damaged, of course, and he is not showing much brain activity outside of muscle jerks. Specifically, pray for healing for his lungs and, most importantly, brain activity to occur. I hope so. Come on, we've had medical miracles before. There was that dude that died in the snow, remember? He was in the friggin' snow for like, I don't know, 17 hours or something, and they were able to thaw him out and... Hold on. Muffin, are you right? Sorry, he's a little bugger. He was like pawing at my leg here because he wanted to jump up and sleep behind me. So I get off the chair, pause the show, and I'm like, come on, jump up, go to your bed. And he just walks away. I'm like, you're a little bastard. You just want to disrupt Dad's show. Diane Marie says, we get flash floods in the desert. Powerful water comes out of nowhere. Yeah, happens here too. It's quite frequent. They even have like, I don't know what you'd call it, but like education type campaigns for it down here. I think I can show you. Let's see if I can find it. I know that they've put out like little, well, I don't know what you call it, education type things. Here. Here's one from Northern Territory.
Let's go outside.
Yeah, so they often play these type of things on local TV. I remember seeing them when I was a kid, especially when I lived in Queensland. Queensland have quite a lot of these type. The most common ones you see in Australia are these type of drainage stormwater. If I can get a clear photo of it. Let me pause it. These type where they're really large and they're very open and they're normally between homes. So they're really accessible to children like this. They're almost like a V shape with a flat bottom. And when it rains, they fill with water like a river. And kids just love playing in them. And, they'll ride their bikes in them, they'll skateboard in them, that type of thing. But when it's raining, they can fill with water very quickly and turn into literal rivers. Yeah, just I don't know if they have this type of thing in America, but even when we get thunderstorm warnings down here, they say, don't play in stormwater drains or whatever in the warning. Yeah, what a horrible story. All I can say is we have great doctors around the world. I know there's probably a crap load of great doctors in this area in Tennessee. I don't know what modern medicine can do for a child that was underwater for 15 minutes with severe lung damage and not a ton of brain activity. But I hope they can find something for the family. That would be, we lose far too many little kids to, children indiscretions. It's a very child thing, right? As an adult would be like, just leave the shoe. It's not worth it. Stay away from it. But a child would be like, hey, my parents bought me that. They always yell at me about wrecking my shoes. I better go back and get it. I'll keep an eye out for an update on Asher and his family. I hope we get better news shortly. All right, back to true crime. Back to true crime. People are like, Ping, you do like one true crime story and the rest are all about weather. I'm never coming to this channel again. It's all right. We do so much true crime every week. It's nice to do a variety show once in a while. All right. Where's my bookmarks? And I'll get you a new story. Did you guys also see in Russia today there was a bus that did like a U-turn and then just drove straight off a bridge. The guy couldn't control the bus and I think 5 people died. I don't know if anyone saw that. Nope, that's not it. Sorry, everyone. Apparently my links are not working. Here. Bitcoin
A
for
North
murder.
Texas woman was sentenced to 9 years in federal prison for planning a dark web murder for hire plot.
Michelle Murphy paid $10,500 in Bitcoin to have a woman romantically involved with her boyfriend killed. Fox 4's Sean Rabb in studio with more. Sean.
Yeah, and that Bedford woman pleaded guilty when confronted by federal agents. Look, this may be the first case in Texas like this that the feds are aware of where payment for a hit was in cryptocurrency. People think what they do on the dark web cannot be traced, but federal agents from Homeland Security investigations became, if you will, cyber sleuths and cast an arrest web around Murphy. Tarrant County Federal Courthouse is where U.S. District Judge Mark Pittman sentenced Michelle Murphy to federal prison for soliciting a murder for hire and paying who she thought was a hitman with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin.
To my knowledge, the first time this has happened in Texas, but it's happened plenty of places all over the United States.
Former U.S. Attorney Richard Roper. The case investigated by the feds, Dallas Field Office of Homeland Security Investigations. According to the criminal complaint, in August 2023, HSI received information from a source that an unknown suspect on the dark web sought to have intended victim murdered in exchange for money. The dark web is that part of the internet that can't be reached through traditional search engines. HSI's Cyber Crimes Group went to work shining an investigative light in virtual dark places.
They're able to pick up the trail of these criminals who are trying to solicit the murder of somebody.
Identifying Murphy, following her digital footsteps. Cryptocurrency ATMs, similar to this one, were used 3 times by Murphy to convert cash into Bitcoin, records reveal. She then used that Bitcoin to hire someone to murder a woman who was in a romantic relationship with her boyfriend, a man with initials OG.
Anything that occurs on the internet or the dark web is an interstate facility that would give the feds jurisdiction to prosecute the murder for hire case.
The plot, though, never carried out. DFW Airport is where Murphy, with her boyfriend, were confronted by agents, and she admitted she transferred Bitcoin with the intent to pay a person to murder, the cash equivalent of $10,500. Judge Mark Pittman sentenced her to 9 years fed time and 2 years supervised probation.
The reality of it is law enforcement has been able to pivot over and pick up the trail of evidence dealing with these type of crimes.
Now, the feds say the person she was communicating with on the dark web never had any intention to actually carry out this particular act, carry out this hit, but may have been instrumental in getting this investigation going.
It reminds me very much of that website. What's that website? Is it like Hitman for Hire or whatever? And every time someone tries to go to it and inquire about a hitman, the guy just forwards it to the Florida police or wherever they're located. So funny. And it's I mean, it's not funny that someone wants to kill someone. It's funny that they think there's a website where you can just hire a hitman, like a cleaning service, and they're like, yeah, we'll be there at 9 o'clock tomorrow, just send us a photo of your victim. Bitcoin is traceable. I think people misunderstand what it is. The dark web might not be fully traceable due to the way Onion works, but Bitcoin itself is traceable through the blockchain. There are certain tools you can use to kind of what they call like wash Bitcoin, where they send it through multiple transactions, but for the most part, they can, with enough time, track it back. It is possible. So they tracked it back to the ATM. Then they tracked it back. So they would have subpoenaed the company, the ATM company, to hand over records of who used that ATM and when. Then they would have just gone to the store that had the ATM, got the CCTV, and went, oh, there was a woman there. Oh, she purchased a Bitcoin at this time and this time. Must be the same lady who tried to hire the murder. Pretty simple. It's not really a hard one to unwind. Hi, are you new to the channel? I think I've seen you before. It's great to have you here. It's really nice to see you. I like the photo of your dog. It's really cute. Thanks for being in the chat. It's nice to see you here. Daniel Mitchell says, I don't know what Bitcoin is, but it's in my portfolio. I diversified into what? Some sort of coin that does something. It's some sort of bits and that's on the interwebs. It does money. People make money. It does things. Yeah, very much so. I don't have any Bitcoin. I'll tell you a story. When Bitcoin was first around, I actually bought some, and I had maybe like, I don't know, 100 Bitcoin or something, and then I lost it. I have no idea what happened to the wallet for it, or the computer that it was on, the hard drive, whatever, the thumbstick. It was like 15 years ago. I have no idea. I've had 10 computers since then. No idea. But there's about 100 Bitcoin somewhere floating around in cyberspace that's supposed to belong to me. Could have been a millionaire. I'm not going to go dig up a landfill, though. There's a guy in England who wants to dig up a landfill because he threw away like $100 million worth of Bitcoin. And he keeps petitioning the city to allow him to dig it up. And the city keeps going, just go away, dude. Just, just count your losses and piss off. And they're just like, it's not worth it. You're going to dig up all the toxic waste and needles and medical waste and things like that. And they're just like, we don't want to make like an environmental kind of disaster. So you can find some Bitcoin, whether or not it's even there. He can't say for sure it's there, and they're just not really willing to buy into it. Yeah. So I don't think I'm the only one that's lost Bitcoin. I don't know how much mine was worth. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't know, and I don't want to know. It's probably a lot. I have no idea. But it was back when Bitcoin was really early on. I was on the forums. Was it forums for it? Some sort of forum for it. And I got into it very briefly. And then I forgot about it for like 8 years. And then it was worth money. And I was like, do I still have that somewhere? No, never found it. Oh, well. You win some, you lose some. You live to fight another day. All right. I have more information on this particular case. Let me show you. The United States Attorney's Office, Northern District of Texas, put out an article for it. They said the woman sentenced to 9 years in dark web murder for hire plot. They said a Bedford woman who attempted to hire a hitman to kill her boyfriend's lover was sentenced today to 9 years in federal prison, announced U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Leah Simonton. Michelle Murphy, 58, was charged by a criminal complaint in September 2023 and pleaded guilty in December 2023 to one count of murder for hire. She was sentenced Thursday by the U.S. District Judge Mark Pittman. According to the court documents, Ms. Murphy used dark web to attempt to pay a hitman $10,510 in Bitcoin to murder her boyfriend's lover. And they just, here. They used blockchain analysis to show that Miss Murphy used an ATM to convert cash into cryptocurrency on at least 3 different occasions. On July 27, 2023, she transferred approximately 0.358 Bitcoin or $10,000 to a Bitcoin wallet she believed belonged to a murder for hire recipient. Agents subsequently confronted Miss Murphy and the boyfriend in question after being read her Miranda rights. She admitted that when she found out her boyfriend was seeing another woman, she attempted to hire a hitman to kill the woman. And you wonder why there's some weird stories out there of murders like, oh, I don't know, the one in Texas? The one of that woman that they don't know who killed her? Shot while she was setting up a yard, like a garage sale, if you remember that one. I'm not saying anything, I'm not implying anything. Just saying that weird things happen, right? Says here, at Thursday's sentencing hearing, prosecutors and defense attorneys agreed that it appeared the hitman who accepted the funds from Miss Murphy likely never intended to carry out the murder. He was like, yeah, I'll kill whoever you want, just send me the Bitcoin. And they just got the Bitcoin and went, yeah, I'll do it in 2058 on a Thursday at 2:30. We're very booked up. That's the soonest I can do it. I'll speak to you in 2058. Homeland Security Investigations conducted the investigation with the assistance of the Bedford and a whole bunch of other police departments, and they prosecuted the case. I think that's a pretty good result, right? Her boyfriend gets to go keep sleeping with his mistress. Is it a mistress or just a new partner? Sorry, I don't want to paint a woman with that brush unless it's true. Her boyfriend was seeing another woman. Okay, she's the other woman. That's how you say that. Yeah, he gets to live his life. He's not dead. He gets to see the other woman still, and she's in jail for 9 years. No, hey, don't be stupid. What do we say on this channel? Walk away. Just walk away. You can't force someone to love you, right? You can't. It's not possible. And if you do, it's called abuse. You can't force someone to love you, and if they don't love you anymore, you just got to accept what you've been given and try and find the silver lining out of it. The silver lining is you're now free to go see whoever you want to see, and that's the positive of it. You can go find it someone else who is much more attractive, much more good looking, whatever. Oh, yeah, DJ knew exactly who I was talking about. Elizabeth Barraza, yeah. They say state and federal agencies have been added to help solve the case. I hope they do solve it. I hope they do. Hey, is she here? Hey, Kresha. It's very kind of you. Hey, I hope you're doing well with the trial. I hope everything's going all right for you and your family. I know it's a trying time, and I hope you're doing well. I see you all the time on Twitter. I see every morning I'm on Twitter, and I'm like, who's broadcasting this morning? And it's you and Ikadmel. I see you and Ikadmel live every morning. And I'm like, oh, there she is. Cresha's back online doing the trial. Hey, it's really good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I really do. Kathy Lynch says a child is most likely at Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville, an excellent hospital. I think they said he was at Vanderbilt. Yeah. Angela says, once a cheater, always a cheater. That's true, right? He's probably never going to change his ways. He could have just walked away. I hope he's doing better. I don't know what the hell was going on the other day, but I had all these emails when I woke up in the morning, and people are like, ping, ping, Ikadmel this, Ikadmel that. I was like, I don't know him. We're not friends. I'm like, I met him once, one time with Trish. I sort of met him and said like this, hi, and that was it. I don't know him, unfortunately. Cool guy. I like him a lot. Danny Mitchell says if they cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. That's right. If you get with a cheater, they'll probably cheat on you later because you're the yesterday's news to them. Yeah, I hope he's doing better. I hope he's doing better. I don't know what was going on with him. I have no idea, but I hope he's getting help. I hope people are helping him. I have no idea. All right, let's get away. Actually, I want to look up this Barraza thing. I did not know they brought in other agencies. Elizabeth Barraza. All right. Why did it just give me a whole heap of porn? There we go. That's better. It's because ping, you need to spell correctly. I typed it in correctly and it just gave me a whole heap of porn. And I was like, okay, that's not what we need. Let me see. Agencies brought in. Here we go. ABC 24. Let's have a look.
Thursday marks 5 years since a woman was gunned down in her driveway near Tomball. Liz Barraza was setting up for a garage sale when she was shot 4 times. The deadly shooting captured on video. Now, 5 years later, the case is unresolved. ABC 13's Jessica Willey has the latest on the investigation and how her family remains resolute even in their grief.
This is Liz's pin.
It's a simple little pin
I've worn this pin so many times
that means so much to Bob Nolly.
to remind me, she's still here.
One of the many mementos created in memory of his daughter, who 5 years ago was gunned down in a place where she should have been safe.
She was doing the most innocent thing imaginable. She was going to sell some stuff she had sitting around the house.
Liz Barraza was setting up for a garage sale at her home on Cedar Walk on January 25th, 2019. It was just before 7 a.m. Her husband, Sergio, had just left for work. Surveillance video shows a person walk up to her, shoot,
And they got her.
and then run off. Liz was 29.
That was the worst day of my life, by far. Nothing will ever come close to that. I pray.
Harris County Sheriff's detectives believe the shooting was planned. The shooter in disguise used a revolver. Nothing was stolen. One of the best leads has been video of a dark-colored Nissan Frontier that was caught on several cameras in the neighborhood, including the Barrazas. But so far, nothing has led to an arrest.
The person that shot her, we believe was paid to shoot her. We believe that they were paid or asked to do this by someone else.
But why? Liz was a member of a Star Wars charity group. Her father says she had no known enemies and lived to serve.
Oh my God, dude.
Last month, ABC 13 reported a newly released dashcam video that showed the raw moments after the shooting. Liz's parents arrived first, followed by Sergio. They were all distraught.
This is crazy, man.
And that was brutal. The only thing in my mind that was worse was walking into the hospital room, because there was no denying it when we did that.
Do you think it will ever be solved?
Yes.
The FBI and the Texas Rangers are now assisting with the county's investigation. Detectives tell ABC 13 no one has been ruled out as a suspect. Liz's parents continue to update a website dedicated to the case. They are committed to preserving her legacy and reminding the public about the $50,000 Crime Stoppers reward that could be theirs with the right tip. All of it giving this heartbroken father purpose.
This is how I get the people that did this off the street, because I would not wish the last 5 years on anybody in the world, because someone somewhere.
I think he's 100% right. I think a lot of people have a sneaking suspicion, just a tiny one, of who or what happened to her, and I would love nothing more for the police to solve it. Oh, they're showing hail in Polk County. Polk County. That is some pretty big hail. Let me pause that. Polk County hail. Yeah, I think I've shown the actual video of her being shot before. I'm not going to show it tonight. If you want to look it up, you can. It is brutal. It is one of the worst videos I think I've ever watched. I'm not worst. Like, it's not graphic. It's so stunning because she's just like, oh, I'm just getting ready for a garage sale, and you just hear the bop 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 bop, and you're just like out of nowhere, this person just runs up to her. Looks like they're in possibly a dressing gown or something, and blasts her with a weapon. I mean, it's awful. I didn't say anything like that. I don't know what you're talking about. I just said what I said. By the way, I was only joking. I know exactly who you are, and it's great that you're here. I'm really happy to see you, by the way. I hope you are doing well. I sent you an email a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, just making sure you're all right, because I hadn't seen you for a little while. I didn't want you to be sick or something, and I was really worried about you. I worry when I don't see my friends. So I hope you're doing well, Miss Beth B. I hope you're okay. I really do. Sean says, some guy lost his password to be able to sell his Bitcoin worth millions. Yeah, I've seen that guy. Is that the same guy? No, this is a different guy. It's not the one in the UK. Yeah, he's used 9 out of 10 password guesses. There's got to be a hacker out there who could do it right for like 10% of the money. There's got to be someone who can break through the encryption. Got to be. Hold on, let's have a look at that one. This is interesting. They said, yeah, they cracked the code to a locked USB drive worth 235 million in Bitcoin. Then it got weird. Stephen Thomas lost a password to an encrypted USB drive holding 7,002 Bitcoins. One of the team of hackers believes they can unlock it if they can get Thomas to let them. Interesting. Yeah, I think I saw a guy who was actually working on a way to do this. He was on YouTube. I'm just trying to see, did they actually do it? So apparently the iron key that he used to store the Bitcoin are designed to permanently erase their contents if someone tries just 10 incorrect password guesses. But unciphered hackers have developed a secret iron key password cracking technique, one that they've still declined to fully describe to me or anyone else outside their company, that gave them essentially infinite tries. My USB stick had reached Unciphered's lab on Tuesday, and I was somewhat surprised to see my 3-word password text back to me the very next morning with the help of high-performance computer. Smith told me the process had only taken 200 trillion tries. Oh, is that all? We do that in a night. We do that in one night. 200 trillion password guesses on the stick. That is very funny. Smith's demonstration was not merely a hacker party trick. He and the team have spent close to 8 months developing a capability to crack this specific decade-old model of iron key for a very particular reason. They believe that in a vault in a Swiss bank 500 miles east of their lab, an iron key that's just as vulnerable to this cracking technique holds the keys to 7,002 bitcoins worth close to $235 million. That is pretty cool. So they're trying to get someone to actually let them. They're saying that Thomas has said in interviews that he's already tried 8 incorrect guesses, leaving only 2 more tries before the iron key erases the keys stored on it, and he loses access to the bitcoins forever. Now, after months of work, the team believe they can open Thomas's locked treasure chest, and they're ready to use their secret cracking technique to do it. We were hesitant to reach out to him until we had a full, provable, reliable attack. And I'm trying to see. They said the only problem is that Thomas doesn't seem to want their help. Earlier this month, not long after performing their USB decrypting demonstration for me, Unsolved reached out to Thomas through a mutual associate who could vouch for the company's new iron key unlocking abilities and offer assistance. The call didn't even get as far as discussing their commission or fee before Thomas politely declined. Thomas had already made a handshake deal with 2 other cracking teams a year earlier, he explained. In an effort to prevent the 2 teams from competing, he had offered each a portion of the proceeds if either one could unlock the drive. And he remains committed even a year later to giving those teams more time to work on the problem before he brings in anyone else, even though neither of the teams has shown any sign of pulling off the decryption trick that Unsolved has already accomplished. That is very interesting. So he's turned it down. The one team that actually has an answer to making him a millionaire, and he's like, nah, I'll wait for these other guys who have no idea what they're doing to have a go at it. They're not even close. They don't have a workable solution. But hey, I said I promised them. I'm a man of my word. I'm just going to let them do it. I would just be like, hey, I'm going to cancel my deal. These guys have found a way of doing it. I'll give you each $1 million for your work. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Peace out. I'm going to go get my 200 mil. That's it. I don't know why they would leave it. Yeah, he turned him down. He said no, he doesn't want to do it. He said that he gave these other people permission to work on it, and he's dedicated to letting them try and do it. So I don't know what to say about that. It's very odd. Yeah, I would make a deal with them. Like, I'll give you $1 million each. If the Bitcoin are on there when this other team, Unciphered, actually get into it, and then if they do, hey, you guys are millionaires, and I get my 200 million. The cracking team probably gets 30-40 million out of it, and we all walk away millionaires. It's literally like a 50s bank heist movie in USB form. That's what it is. You got multiple teams trying to break into the bank, but the bank is a USB stick. That's it. Very interesting. I love this type of stuff. I know it's not true crime related, but it is interesting. Oh yes, it is this weekend, isn't it? Kathy Lynch says, I want to wish all the mums on here a happy Mother's Day. Me too. We're not doing anything because we have the people that are normally around for Mother's Day are not here. They're away, and we're not doing anything. But so all the mums out there, have a great day. Have a day off. Do something you want to do for you. Don't let anyone push you around. Make sure your kids clean up. If your kids are adults, make sure they come over and clean up. Make sure they come over and feed you tea. Make them make your dinner. Don't be like, hey, come over for a Sunday roast. No, you make them bring the roast. It is Mother's Day. Make them take you out to dinner. If you have daughters, make them take you to the like the spa. Get a treatment done. Do something that'll make you feel much better on Monday morning. She needs a card and a gift from the cats. Maybe. Moon Shadow says retinal scanning is the key. We've spoken about it a few times. I don't want to keep harping on about it. It's not my story to tell, but yeah. I think Trish will talk about it a lot more when she feels like she can. Little Miss Sharon says, I'm going to a dressage competition with my horse on Sunday. Well, that's something for you, right? Sounds like you would have fun. Yeah, have a great Mother's Day. I really do. The women in our lives add a lot to it and often do things that are very unthankful, like tasks, things that they often don't get thanked for or often taken for granted. And at least on this one day of the year, you could make sure that the mum in your life is shown how much you appreciate her. Yeah, all the mums have a great day. If I see any of you mums in here on a Sunday night for Sunday Nights with Pink, I'll know that you didn't have a good Mother's Day. No, I'm just kidding. You can still come here, but I'd prefer if you guys were out to dinner or something and your kids are paying the bill. Actually, I got something to ask you. At what age do you think that your parents, like as parents, you have paid like enough dinners for your children and you're like, hey, it's now time for the tables to turn the other direction. And when we go out, you guys get to pay a little bit. I think it's like 30, but you let me know. I think around 30 years of age, maybe mid 20s, it starts going the reverse the other way. It's like the kids should start paying. You know, they got better jobs and things like that. You know, start treating your parents a little more. Start being like a bit kinder to them. Not always assuming that they'll cover the tab if you head out for dinner or whatever. Little Miss Sharon says, "Oh, all proceeds go to the Breast Cancer Foundation." Take it in turn. That's a good way of doing it. Actually, we're waiting for an auntie to come down. We're going to see her maybe in a couple of weeks, and she bought us dinner about a couple of weeks ago. So we're going to buy her dinner when she comes back down. That's how we do it. Yeah, you should post some photos, Sharon, of your dressage competition. Actually, in another life, I'll tell you this. I had a friend. How do I say this without outing her? She was big into the dressage thing, and she did a lot of stuff with brow bands. She owns a very large company for brow bands. That's all I can say, but you might know her actually. Oh, you definitely know who she is. She lives in Victoria and she owns one of the largest companies for it. So you would definitely know who she is. You're probably on her Facebook page. But she's a friend of mine for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. She lives in the southeast. No, the southwest Victoria. But yeah, I definitely guess you would know her. All right. Shall we get to some more true crime? Have we talked enough rubbish? Let's see what else we got. Oh, I like this. Apparently, David Knezevich appeared Friday before a chief magistrate on kidnapping charges linked to the disappearance and presumed death of his 40-year-old wife, Anna. Following a lengthy hearing, the judge determined the risk to release the defendant on bond would be too substantial. He has been remanded. Oh, I like that. He has been remanded to appear at a later date. No bond for husband accused of kidnapping his wife. Let's see if we get a video to watch. Come on, video.
Now at 5:30, the Fort Lauderdale man accused of kidnapping his wife in Spain will remain in jail after a judge denied bond in a Miami courtroom this afternoon.
NBC6's Lorena and Clown is live from downtown Miami with more. Lorena, the hearing revealed new details about this international kidnapping case.
It did, Jawan. For the first time, we heard the prosecution say that they feared that Ana Maria Knežević may have been killed. An FBI agent also revealed today that blood was found inside her Madrid apartment, but that they're still waiting on the DNA results of that blood. In the meantime, the defense attorney quickly seizing on the prosecution, calling all of their evidence circumstantial. Ana Maria's brother was in court this afternoon to watch the man accused of kidnapping his sister go before a judge.
Well, on behalf of the family, we're very pleased with the judge's decision.
A federal judge ultimately denying 36-year-old David Knežević bond, calling him a flight risk because of his means and significant ties to Serbia. But the judge also calling the case circumstantial, a point made by the defense attorney who cross-examined the FBI agent during the bond hearing, attempting to cast doubt on whether Ana Maria is even in danger and accused the prosecution of not having evidence that her client kidnapped her. The prosecution pushed back, calling the WhatsApp messages that agents suspect were crafted by Knežević and sent to Ana Maria's friends with her phone a bombshell. An eyewitness also places Knežević in Madrid around the time of Ana Maria's disappearance and points out that a car he rented was returned with tinted windows, changed tags, and thousands of miles on it.
We are continuing to cooperate with law enforcement as they pursue justice for Ana Knežević.
The lengthy pretrial hearing revealed details about a rocky marriage, including how the two agreed to have an open relationship in an attempt to save their marriage. But the FBI agent on the case says that Ana Maria decided to leave to Spain because she felt her life was threatened by Knežević and that their separation had caused her mental health issues for which she was seeking therapy. You heard there from the attorney representing Ana Maria's family. The defense attorney did not want to speak to media after the hearing. They are entitled to appeal the judge's decision to deny bond, but for now, Knežević will remain in jail until his next court hearing. Reporting live from downtown Miami, Lorena Inclán, NBC 6 News.
That is very interesting.
Now at 5:30.
That is very interesting. The fact that that car he returned while he was in Madrid had thousands of miles, extra miles on it, and different tags on it, and tinted windows. Who does that to a rental car that they don't own? That is very suspicious. Almost like he didn't want to be seen or identified. Hopefully they might be able to grab that car and do some like tech wizardry, sort of GPS tracking on it, and find out where the car went. Maybe it might lead to her body. Miss Trisha posted something on her community page about donations for Vicky. Okay. If she did, I don't know. She didn't send it to me. I know she's busy and not well right now, mourning her friend, but I don't have that information. I mean, I can grab it if you guys want me to. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, sorry, there was like 4 messages. Okay, here we go. That's very sad. I guess I can show this. Yeah, this is from her daughter, apparently. They said, "Thank you for everyone for your love and support at this time. We are overwhelmed with gratitude. I have not replied to everyone that has reached out. Many are asking some of the same questions, so I'll take some time now to answer them as best as I can." Says, "What happened to mom? She had COPD, so that's a lung disease people get. That's right? It's a degenerative lung disease, right? Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is common lung disease, restricted airflow and breathing. Yes. Apparently, her health had been deteriorating over the last decade. She fell Wednesday, breaking her hip and elbow. While she was in hospital, she declined quickly because of the stage of her COPD and her lungs. Her body was not strong enough to be able to handle the injuries that she occurred. They said, when is the service? They said they'll plan a memorial service later on this summer. The service will be online since this is where most of the community is. That's true. That would be a great idea. Okay, so how do you do this? Okay. Here. So apparently the daughters are saying that they are that they may be struggling because it was unexpected. They don't know what costs or like end of life what end of life monetary things that might pop up, because apparently she had an apartment and bills and things like that, and they have no idea what her accounts might hold, that type of thing. So they said that if you like to help, they said the Venmo and Cash App for it is this. If you'd like to help with food. All right, I can put both these in the chat. Here we go. They said if you'd like to help with costs of the funeral, or if you'd like to buy them a meal to help them out, you can these are the details here. That's the Venmo and Cash App. If you'd like to help with food, Uber Eats and DoorDash gift cards would be greatly appreciated. The email is this one here. Britt Hicks. I was going to say something else, and I was going to say a really rude word at gmail.com. So if you would like to do that, I mean, I know a lot of people had some really horrible things to say about Heels in the Air. I mean, she picked her enemies well, right? She picked her enemies well. But I think she did what she thought was the best way to call people out on their shitty actions. Not that they were completely rubbish people, just that they may have done something that may have hurt someone else, or what she thought was wrong on YouTube. She had a lot of people who thought she did a great job. So Lux says, my mom has COPD. I'm sorry to hear that. I know that when I watch American television, they often have something about COPD, and you can get a booklet and things like that. That's the only way I've ever heard of it. It's not a big thing in Australia. Maybe it is more than I know. But I know there's a weird thing they show on American telly, and it's like, if you have COPD, you can contact this free help center and get a booklet which tells you what to expect from your disease or whatever. But from what I understand, it's a really horrible illness to have. It almost feels like you're choking to death for most of your life. Marylinda says Leonard Nimoy had COPD. He was a heavy smoker. Man, it's why I advocate for vaping as much as I can. I am a vapor. I quit smoking 10 years ago. I don't talk about it on the show. I don't vape on the show. But I do. It's right here. Often when I'm like, like this. If I'm like this, I'm normally vaping between articles. You guys just can't see it. But I'm a big proponent of it. It saved my life, and it saved a lot of people I know too. So if you're a smoker out there and you're able to access it, I would think about it. I was a pack-a-day smoker. Can you believe that? I was a pack-a-day smoker since I started smoking when I was 13. I started not fully. I wasn't smoking like a pack a day then, but I started smoking socially when I was 13, and I started buying my own packs of cigarettes around 15, and I smoked up until I was 20, 27, 28, and then I found vaping in the early days of vaping, back when they used to look like a cigarette, and I've been smoke-free for, I don't know, 12 years. Haven't had a cigarette in 12 years or something. So if you're out there and you think you need help in you would like to, you have to want to do it, right? You have to want to be a part of it. So if that's you, have a look into it. It might help you. It may not. Some people really enjoy smoking, but I would I would do anything to avoid this COPD. That is a horrible disease, and I didn't even know heels had it. It's a really hard disease to live with. The hell was that? Utah said, I quit smoking 2 years ago on Christmas. Well done, Ping. Thank you. I think right now, especially with the vaping thing, there's a lot of misinformation out there. The Royal College of Physicians in England has actually found that vaping is 95% safer than smoking. So while it's not 100% risk-free, nothing is in life is. You could eat Chinese food and die on an egg roll. You could. There are risks involved in eating Chinese food. Yeah, it's it's not perfect, but the fact that it can get you away from cigarettes are an awful thing, and they will steal your later years of your life very quickly. Yeah, well done. Very, very. It takes a lot of willpower to want to quit smoking. Yeah, me too. I used to smoke with these little tiny little things that had a light on the end. Now we have this kind of thing, and it's so much better. Next Xmas is 2 years for you. That's pretty cool. So you've been smoke-free for about a year and a half. Okay, that's pretty cool. Look, I don't speak about it on this channel. This is like one of the only times I've ever spoken about it, ever, in 300 shows on this channel, because it's so divisive. It's so many people have different opinions about it. I don't want this channel to become a battleground for it, I don't care if you smoke, I don't care if you vape, I don't care if you hate vaping. We're not here for that. We're here for true crime, and we can all be friends. Yeah, me too. I can smell it a mile away now, Angela. If someone's smoking like down the street, I can smell it. It's crazy what happens after you quit smoking. Like, it's funny. When we moved what, it's like 18 months ago. We were going through some like old clothes, like we'd put away. We hadn't worn them in 5-6 years or whatever. And we had to throw them away because we looked at them and they still had tarring on it. It still had that brown tar that gets all over your crap when you're a smoker. And we were just like, because we both don't smoke anymore, we were just like, and we just threw it away. And yeah, so it gets on everything. Fin early vapor. What does that mean? Fin early vapor? You're an early vapor? That's pretty cool. I didn't know that about you. So if you don't know, we'll go back to true crime in a second. This will be the last thing I say on it, okay? If you don't know, in Australia right now, the government is trying to ban vaping completely, like 100%. Like you will not be able to buy anything vaping related at all. The only thing you'll be able to get is unflavored mint, a light mint, and a tobacco. That's it. And the only thing you'll be able to get is a tiny little pod device, and it'll cost $25 per pre-filled pod from the pharmacy. Yet, I make my stuff up now, like here. This is a 100 ml bottle. Cost me 30 cents to make. And they want to charge $25 for that. They want to charge $25 for this little tiny thing. $25. So it's about as bad as smoking. That's about as bad as buying a pack of smokes. This cost me 10 cents to fill up. They want to take that away from people and charge $25 for that. It's ridiculous. It'll kill more people that won't give it a chance. That'll die from smoking. You shouldn't take freedoms away from adults. I hate government overreach. It's one of my hated things. I'm not a big political person at all, but I hate government overreach, and that's what I consider overreach. I'm not a huge fan of disposables. They've caused a huge issue here, but I get if it helps you, that's a good thing. But yeah, I know in the UK they're trying to ban They're not trying to ban disposables here. But they've already banned disposables. You can't buy them here anymore. They're banned here from January 1. January 1, like 4 or 5 months ago, done. Cannot get disposables here anymore. It's over. Can't get them. They're banned. But they're trying to ban this type of vaping, like where you fill it up with a bottle, like like this. You use a little bottle with the nipple tip, and you fill it up. They're trying to ban it completely. I use a mod, yeah. Well, they're going to try to go for that next in the UK. I know they are. Marylander said I smoked in my early 20s only to be cool. Are you still cool, Maryland? Maryland Landers, oh, you're here. By the way, Maryland, I won't show it, but Maryland sent me the greatest photo of a viewer I've ever seen. You guys would be stunned by the beauty of Marilyn Landis. No wonder she has a younger boyfriend. I mean, I was shocked. I was so shocked I didn't know what to write back to her. I was like, how could a woman be so beautiful in her, I don't know what age she is. I'm going to say she's 35. Has to be 35. Marilyn is super cool. You want me to show the photo? Is that why you sent it in? I have no idea why you sent it. I was just like, had this random photo in my email. All right, I can show it if you want. All right, how do I do this? There we go. Save it in my computer. All right, let's show Marilyn Landis. Are you sure you're all right? I just want to make. Okay, all right. I'll show it. You know, I try to keep my everyone's privacy as they want it. All right, this is Marilyn Landis. You guys have seen her in the chat. One day we'll have her on the show, I promise. Here's Marilyn. Say hello to everyone. Say hello to Marilyn. You can see her on the show. There you go. Look, will she talk to me on the show like a panel? No, she won't. It's just a photo. But Marilyn, thank you so much for sending your photo. I love seeing people from the chat. I mean, like I told you, unparalleled. No wonder she has a younger boyfriend. I can see it. 71. I see. I would have said 35. See, I just didn't know what it would be. Reby says, I stopped smoking, not one craving. I know I am blessed as many can't. When they take it to election, Reby, I would implore you to look at the policies from the parties, because Labour can, many swear words, many beep words. Yeah, I don't believe it either, right? She said 71. I think she's lying to us. She is lying to us. She is a young woman. She is at university. I'm sure of it. Juicy Jules says, I smoked age 27 to 60. You don't smoke anymore? That's good. I hope you don't. Nor I. Yeah, see, no one believes you, Marilyn Landis. No one believes you are 71. Jenny says, we use roll paper or sugar sticks to pretend we were smoking. They used to sell those chocolate things. What are those chocolate things with the rice paper around it? They're called, I think they had a really bad word that is like a bad word for gay people. And they used to sell them in little packs at the $2 store or whatever. Let me see if I can find them. I'm not saying this word. I'm very accepting of people. Hold on. Yeah, but I can't say that word. Yeah, they were. They had chocolate on the inside. Yes, they did. There was two types. There was one that had paper and then chocolate on the inside, and there was one that was like a chalk. But the ones I remember were chocolate. So when I was a child, they used to sell these back in the day, and you used to be able to get them in all different, like Camel, Pall Mall, LN, whatever these brands are, and they were either candy, and they had like a red tip on it, or there were like these ones that were chocolate, and they had like a rice paper outside. And I swear to God, every time we went to the corner store, we would always buy these. I don't even know why our parents let us, but we did. We would always buy them. We'd always have them, and we always would pretend we were smoking. Look at these look like real brands. Like Pall Mall, I know is a real brand, and so is Camel. Cool is a real brand. So they looked very lifelike, but then they changed them to these at one point. They're called fads now, but they used to be called this word as a slang word for cigarettes. But you can't say that word anymore because it's a bad word for gay people. It's an insulting word for people, gay people. But they used to sell them under this name. So yeah, I do remember these when I was a little kid. Marilanda says, my dad smoked like 60 cigarettes a day for over 40 years. Camels. The Camels with the no filter? Oh, I had them once and they were like, I felt like my lungs were drowning in tar. Have a great weekend. Have a great Mother's Day if I don't see you before Sunday. Angela says it's still a word for cigarettes in the UK. In Australia, you can't use that word anymore. You'll get told you're homophobic or whatever. All right, let's do one more story before we get out of here for the day. We've been on for ages. We've been on almost 2 hours. Almost 2 hours. That's a long show. All right, let's do one more true crime. Let's see what I can find for you all. Let's see what I can find for you all. All right. What? I always say that, and you guys are like, what is he talking about? What is he so impressed by?
Update to breaking news we first brought you yesterday morning out of Gwinnett County. Police are investigating a possible murder-suicide after a man and 3 children were found dead. To breaking news we first brought you yesterday morning out of Gwinnett County. Police are investigating a possible murder-suicide after a man and 3 children were found dead inside a car. The 3 children have been identified as 9-year-old Carlos Rodriguez, his big brother, 11-year-old Shadell, and their sister, 13-year-old Arani. Police have not released the man's name yet. Police say he was previously in a relationship with the children's mother. She was at the hospital with the child they shared together when this happened. Investigators are still working to find out what led up to this tragic incident.
How did the New York?
Hold on, let me read through this. It says Gwinnett police on Thursday morning identified the suspect accused of killing 3 children in what they believe is a murder S-word. According to the Gwinnett County Police Department, the deceased suspect is 56-year-old Jose Placenia of Norcross. The GCPD said on Wednesday that the mother of the 3 children was previously in a relationship with the suspect. The department explained the mother and the suspect shared 1 child together. That child needed medical attention on Tuesday for an injury, and the mother and her other 3 children all went to hospital as she got treatment for the one with the injury. Those 3 children were identified Wednesday as 13-year-old Ariani, 9-year-old Carlos, and 11-year-old Shadell. And they all died? That's awful. It says police said the mother agreed to let the other children go with the man to grab a bite to eat while she stayed with the other child who was injured. However, police said she wasn't able to get in contact with them as the night went on. The county police said around 1 a.m. an officer was doing a routine check at Lucky Shoals Park on Britt Road when he saw a car parked on the pedestrian trail. Police said when the officer approached the 4-door car, he saw 4 bodies inside, with the man sitting in the front seat of the car. The man and the woman's 3 children had gunshot wounds, according to police. Awful. It says, it is tragic. Our officers are going to step aside and do the job to the fullest and make sure that they investigate this as if it was any other homicide. And they too at least bring some conclusion to the families who may be involved. Let's see what this is here.
We now know the names of 3 children found dead inside of a car in Gwinnett County. And police said that they were discovered along with the body of an adult man near the walking trail in Lucky Shoals Park. The oldest kid, only 13 years old. And tonight, investigators are revealing more about the connection between that man and the kids and where the mother was at the time. 11 Alive's Karis Belger joins us now. So, Karis, can you tell us a little bit more about these children?
Yes, well, Gwinnett County Police have identified the children as 13-year-old Ariani Rodriguez, 9-year-old Carlos Rodriguez, and 11-year-old Shadal Rodriguez. And police also tell us their mother was at a local hospital with another child who was being treated for an unrelated injury. The mother and the suspected shooter are parents to the same child who was at the hospital. According to police, the suspected shooter convinced the children's mother to let him take them to get some food. The suspected shooter is not related to the children who were in the car, nor was he currently in a relationship with the mother, according to Gwinnett Police. Now, around 1 in the morning, an officer who was patrolling in the area noticed the vehicle on the walking trail and tried to speak to the people inside. When there was no response, he approached the car, and that's when he found the bodies. Sergeant Michelle Pahira with the Gwinnett County Police Department says this was an isolated incident.
What I'd like to tell people is that this appears to be an isolated incident, and though it is tragic, our officers are going to step aside and do the job to the fullest and make sure that they investigate this as if it were any other homicide, and try to at least bring some conclusion to the families who may be involved.
What the hell? I don't get it. The mother took one child to the hospital because it had an injury. That guy came and said, "Hey, I'll take the other kids away to get a bite to eat while you take care of the sick child." And he just killed them all. Why? Doesn't really explain, right? Like, he was just taking them for a bite to eat. Here's a photo of him. And the smallest one must be the surviving one, maybe the one who was in hospital. Wow. A 13-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an 11-year-old. That is awful. Shows you that domestic violence reaches all people and all ethnicities. Doesn't matter who you are, could affect you any day. Yes, thank you. Hit the like and it does help the channel. This channel's so close to 1,000. Here's our message from the chat. We're trying to get there. You want to help? Please subscribe. It might light up if I say the word subscribe now. It may, sometimes it doesn't. I would appreciate it. I try and fill this show with as much information as I can, that I don't just sit here like some other places and are like, hey, subscribe, donate to this channel, I just try to give you as many facts as I can to make the show as good as I can, because I get annoyed at shows that are like, hey, here are our donation links every 10 minutes or whatever. Like, it drives me crazy. And I don't like it on the podcast either, where it's like, hey, you have to listen to a 30-second ad before you can listen to the next bit about who the killer is. Drives me crazy. So I don't like doing it to other people either. But I appreciate any help this channel does get, either by liking, subscribing, or sending something to any of these links. It is very kind of everyone. Jenny Allison said he was probably mad at her for not being with him anymore, but I don't know what makes someone do something so horrible. Yeah, there's no explanation here of anything. The only thing I can think of is that he hurt the original child in a domestic violence situation. Like, they were already in some sort of argument. That's why the first child got hurt. Then when she took it to the hospital, he decided to go one step further. I don't know, though. There's not a ton of information. Hold on. Let me see. Let's go back.
Story that we've been following since early this morning. Gwinnett County Police investigating the body of a man and 3 children found inside a car parked on a walking trail in Lucky Shoals Park.
Such a tragic situation here. 11 Alive's Karis Belger has been working all day to get answers for us. Karis, in our 4 o'clock hour, you said so many people walk on that trail. What can you tell us about this tonight?
It's very popular. Even in just the last few minutes, I've seen people walking along this trail. I'm along it right now. This is exactly where the vehicle was found with that one adult and those 3 children inside. And I want to mention, I spoke with people who use this trail every day. They also live in the area. They tell me they were shocked that something like this could happen in their own backyard.
On the mornings, I usually go for a walk.
The path along Adriana Quinones's morning walk in Lucky Shoals Park is normally peaceful. Today, it was a different story.
I was surprised because, like I said, I thought it was a very safe park, and I never saw an incident like that before. Sometimes I go for 30-minute walks, and I then come back and I see the police here.
This morning, instead of friendly patrols, there was crime scene tape as investigators with the Gwinnett County Police Department collected evidence after an officer made a startling discovery.
Around 1:03 this morning, one of our officers assigned to our West Precinct was doing an area check here. The officer doing the area check stumbled across a vehicle that was on a pedestrian trail. The officer called out to the occupants inside the vehicle and got no response.
Inside were 4 dead bodies, 1 man and 3 children. The children were 13, 9, and 11. Investigators are trying to determine what led to the tragedy.
At this time, our investigators are investigating this as a possible murder-suicide, though final determination will have to be made by the medical examiner.
See it far too often that, you know, women and children are taken out of this world by someone who thinks they control them. We got to stop that. Got to stamp this crap out of society. I thought we moved past controlling women like 20 years ago. You know, isn't that why you guys burnt bras and things? So people would stop controlling you, because the bra was like a control device of men. I thought we did that a long time ago. Obviously not, because apparently we've still got it. Oh my God, what is going on? Hey, little tiny cat, what are you doing? Can you see him? He's like right there. Muffin. Yeah, it really is horrible. Man, Phil Hartman from Saturday Night Live, not just from Saturday Night Live, from The Simpsons, and what was that show he was on about in an office? I can't remember. He was on a show about like an office or something. Hold on. Like, we talk about domestic violence for females, but, you know, I don't think there's a more glaring example of female on male domestic violence than Phil Hartman. I mean, what a horrible thing. He was such a talented dude too. So funny. You guys might remember him. I think he played Troy McClure on The Simpsons. Yeah, it says right there, Troy McClure. He played, you know, you may remember me from such films as... He was one of the funniest people on The Simpsons, and he was in Jingle All the Way. What else? He was in wasn't he in a... I never watched Saturday Night Live. I'm not a Saturday Night Live person. Actually, what's the date today? The 11th? Tonight, do you guys like comedy? I'm going to show you. I'm going to go back to Phil Hartman in a second, but I want to show you something. What's her name? Wait, what's her name? What's the comedian's name? The girl. Glazer, right? Yeah, Nikki Glazer. Yeah, Nikki Glazer is like one of my favorite comedians. I love her. She's so funny. She's doing a special tonight called... Actually, the title of it's really... it's not a good one for what we've been talking about tonight. I think it's called We All Die Someday or something like that. But it's supposed to be on the 11th. Yeah, it's called Someday You'll Die. Nikki Glazer, HBO. It's going to be on HBO on the 11th. So it might be tomorrow night, Saturday night. If that's your thing, if you think you like that type of comedy, I love it. She is so funny. That's my type of comedy. I'm not a huge Saturday Night Live person, but Nikki Glazer has me in stitches for hours. So if you've never heard of her, you should watch. She has another one called Perfect and Good Clean Filth. Good Clean Filth is one of her other ones. Also a 2022 HBO special. Freaking hilarious. You want to know where I get a lot of my sense of comedy from? Watch her. Nikki Glazer, you like her too? Far out. She's so funny. She went to your college, really? I had no idea. What did Red Like Wine say? Football in college. DJ says, Phil Hartman, important work, Small Soldiers, Jingle All the Way, News Radio. Might have been News Radio is the one I remember him from. Yeah, it might be News Radio. So I Married an Axe Murderer. Isn't that spooky? And The Brave Little Toaster, Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Great guy. Very just tragic loss, really is. Marylander says she talks about her body and men. Yes, it is funny as hell. Jenny says Jingle All the Way was filmed here in Minneapolis. I didn't know that. Funny movie. Is that the one where he has to get the action hero doll thing? Is that Jingle All the Way? It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, or is that a different one? There's heaps of Christmas movies out there. Yeah, so it says this is going to be Nikki Glazer, Someday You'll Die. What an awful title for what we've been talking about tonight, though. It says is set to debut on Saturday, May 11th at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific time. Will also be available for streaming on Max. I'll be hanging out. I'll be like, we'll be doing the show and it'll hit 10 o'clock and I'll be like, I'm out of here. I'm gone. No, actually, I think we're going to be on about 10:30 tomorrow, so I'll have to wait a couple of hours until we're done and then I can go and watch it. But yeah, if that's your type of comedy, it'll be on tomorrow night. Angela says, Hi, Married an Axe Murderer is an amazing film. I can't say I've ever watched it. Sorry. It might be a little before my time. It's not one I've ever seen. I've seen a couple of these things. Like I think I've seen the Small Soldiers and a couple of others, but might be a touch before my time. But I'm a huge Tim Allen fan too. I love Tim Allen. I find him hilarious. But Seinfeld, I don't find him funny at all. It's Mrs. Ping loves him, but I don't relate to his comedy. You like Seinfeld? Yeah. I don't find him very funny. Yeah, all right. Hey, I think we've had a real variety show tonight. We've had all different subjects, some sad, some funny, some weird, like tornadoes in Australia. I think that was pretty cool to show you. And we've done a bunch of different sad cases. Remains found of women unfortunately caught in domestic violence situations, like Jamila Smith in South Carolina. And we've done things like the dark web murder for hire plot. We did a little bit on older cases. We did Bitcoin. I think we've done just about everything tonight. Yeah, she's seen him live too. I've seen Chris Rock. I saw Chris Rock a couple of years ago. Greatest night of my life. I loved it. And if Nikki Glazer ever comes to Australia, I will be the first person who puts down money. I'll be like, give me the VIP package, because I think she's very talented at what she does. It's a lot of talk for 2 hours when you're the only person on it and you have no other panel to help break up the show. It is. My voice ends up crapping out at the end. But I appreciate it. Hey, guys, let me just check one thing, because I reckon, yeah, I had a feeling it would be Sean. Sean, I really appreciate it. Do you know Sean? And I don't want to out him, but he sends me a little donation every single day I do a show. And I think that is the kindest thing he does. And I put it all away and I put it into a different section, and it's literally to help sort of pay for the court thing I'm going to do in a couple of weeks. And yeah, so you can thank Sean because he's he's about the person who's going to fund it in the end, I think. She doesn't want to. See, I told you they would ask. I told you they would ask. Angela Connolly says Mrs. Ping should join in. She just gave you like a nope smirk and was like, nope. She has no interest in doing this. None whatsoever. I tried to get her to come on and do the intro a few times to say hello to everyone in the chat, and I got her about a foot away from the desk, and then she just walked the other direction and went, nope. She was like, no, I don't want to. So she has no interest. She doesn't want to be on camera. She doesn't want to be on the microphone. Oh no, she likes true crime. And she was probably watching. Are you watching true crime right now? Not at the moment. Yeah. Normally she'd be watching some sort of documentary or something on true crime. Yeah, we worked on. I tried to convince her to do that, but she was. I said I'll turn the camera off, and you just have to speak into the microphone, and she was like, "No." So maybe one day. Maybe one day. You guys get me to that 1,000. I might try harder to get her on to the show. All right, hey, we better get out of here. I am a very lucky person to have such great people in my chat each night. I don't take it for granted. I really do understand how lucky I am to have such a great viewership and the people who leave comments. Oh, by the way, I got an update from someone at YouTube wrote back saying they think our comments have been fixed. So I will be able to start replying again. Yes, I got an email overnight tonight. So I hope it has been fixed, and I hope now you'll be able to see my replies to you. Yay, finally. It took like a month, 6 weeks or something. They don't work fast. But yes, we'll be back. And yeah, if you leave a comment, you should get a reply now. But just know, during the break when we couldn't reply to people, I read every single comment. Like Emily Narb last night said, I fall asleep, so I'm really replaying the rest. Shasta Daisy said, I can't imagine what the family went through 2 weeks in his own truck. That was Brian Lush. Helen Howie always writes, and she says, Helen, Great Britain, hi replay crew. So I read everything you guys do. Sienna said, I'm back for the replay crew for the first half that I missed. Diane Marie said, catching the replay crew. Thank you. I always read everything you guys leave, even when I can't reply properly. Moon Shadow actually told me that the Sebastian photo has been confirmed to be a different child, and that we're not supposed to share it anymore because it's supposed to be the mum doesn't want her child being blasted online or whatever. I totally get it. And Penguin said riding on the footpath is not a capital offense. You shouldn't be killed for doing so. I agree, Penguin. So just know I do read everything, even when we couldn't reply. I don't want people to think I just don't give a shit and I'm not going to, what you guys say or whatever is not important. It is. And I do read everything. Yeah. Hey, I love you all. What can I say? I'll be back tomorrow night, 9:30. Well, no, actually, I think we're going to go 10:30 tomorrow night. 10:30 until Monday because Trisha's not doing any shows. So I'll be on at 10:30. And hey, that's it. That's it for tonight. 2-hour live show. What a banger of a show. 2 hours. I'll be back tomorrow night. See you then. Peace out. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great Saturday morning. Be safe out there, okay? And make sure you're here for 10:30. See you later. Have a great night.